all cases are settled in the camp of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Super Eagles and Ademola, Lookman and Victor James Osimhen dispute. On that note, I say welcome to Sport Tour on Enterprise TV, where sport news from the four corners of the world are delivered at its best. If you are joining us for the first time, please do well to follow us across all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV 7. My name is John Olasukomi. Join me and let's ride together. Joining me virtually today is Dami Wells. Dami Wells, welcome to Sport Talk.
Yeah, good morning, Oluwasukome. I hope you've had a very wonderful day with the news coming from left, right, front, and center. Yes, but anyways, I'm good to go. Let's have the show running.
All right. You know how we do. We always start with local football. The Nigerian Football Federation (NFF) has played down reports of a rift in the Super Eagles camp at the 2025 African Cup of Nations in Morocco, following an on-field altercation between 2023 African Player of the Year, talking about Victor James Osimhen, and his successor, 2025 African Player of the Year, Ademola Lookman, during Nigeria's 4-0 win over Mozambique on Monday, 5th January 2025. Dami Wells, according to a report, we heard that Osimhen threatened to leave the camp of the Super Eagles of Nigeria, but the NFF has played a good role in this one. And you know the funny thing, bad attitude has now turned to passion in football. What are your thoughts, Dami Wells, on Victor James Osimhen and Ademola Lookman?
Well, we talked about this yesterday, and I was like, what Victor Osimhen did wasn't good enough. Ademola Lookman is his teammate. See, even if the player is a Benjamin Frederick, who is very young, I'm talking about someone that probably is playing for the national team for the first time. You don't have the right to talk to the player like that. You saw what happened in the Everton game where Ganagwe and Michael Keane were having issues. The referee had to give both of them a red card, and they had to go. And I think they also got fined. In the within the team. You understand? So what I'm being skeptical or being careful about is the issue of precedence. If we allow this to continue, then there will be precedence. Other players will be able to do this, maybe not now, maybe in the future, because Victor Osimhen have done it and nothing is happening to him. Everybody is,
so the likes of Adams can also tell the coach that take me off. I want to leave because they didn't give me a pass.
I would have loved the coach to actually leave him on the pitch. You understand? Because you don't tell the coach to take you off because people refuse to pass to you. See, you know what Victor Osimhen did? What it reminded me about was I think that was around 2021, 2022, when I was still coaching young guys. I used to be a developmental coach. Even though I've stopped that for now. And sometimes you see some kids, because kids are different. Some kids are very gentle, very respectful, while some kids are very, very, very rude. Like on the pitch of play, you see them shouting at their teammates. They want to be the one to dribble everybody. They are still kids, they are still learning. So you understand that, and we have to talk to them, and sometimes we even punish them. You tell them to go out, and everything. But this is Victor Osimhen, a professional, and I expect him to understand better. You understand? What if Victor Osimhen was playing alongside players like Vinicius Junior? Or he's playing alongside, maybe he's playing in Arsenal, where we have Martin Odegaard, that he loves to dribble, he loves to hold on to the ball, he loves to do so many things. Is he going to break bottle on his head? You understand? So Victor Osimhen ought to be, he ought to talk to himself. And most especially, I feel that the coach should stamp his authority in that team. And if possible, Victor Osimhen should be, benched. I wouldn't support those saying,
I was about to say something like that, because I listened to some of our veterans, the likes of Charles and Anazodo, the likes of Agbede. They said Osimhen should go back to the bench. So you also are saying the same thing. So you agree with them?
I agree with them, because, see, every action needs to bring a reaction in terms of punishment this time around. Yes, he's a star player. He's one of the best players, if not the best player in the team. He carries the team. He's very passionate. I love all that about him. seriously, before this incident, I've not really had any issue with Victor Osimhen. Even though the way he spoke in the Finidi George issue was quite, so big and harsh, but maybe I still quite understand him, and stuff like that, because we don't really know the truth about that Finidi George moment. You understand? But this time around, we saw you doing this in the pitch, and again, you left the dressing room. I saw a video of recent Chukwueze, all the players after the game against Mozambique, they were in the team bus about to go to their hotel. I don't know if you've seen the video. Chukwueze was making fun that they need to go back and warm their food. It should have been cold and everything. Victor Osimhen was not there. On a normal day, you'd have seen Victor Osimhen also, in their midst, joking and playing. They had to wait in the bus for Ademola Lookman to finish his interviews because he won the man of the match, Yes, and they were even making jest of what's his name, Calvin Bassey, going to meet him, playing with him. You understand, when he was in the interview, it's all love. Victor Osimhen wasn't there, so that means you're trying to tell the team that you are bigger than the team.
Yes, of course.
It doesn't make any sense. You understand? So he's meant to take a bit of a punishment and a bit of a responsibility because he's now a captain. This is not hate on Osimhen. I love Osimhen. In fact, I've loved him since under 17. I've been seeing him. I'm a very strong supporter of Victor Osimhen. I've made so many videos about him. I want him to even join Manchester United. I wanted him and I still want him anyway.
Don't talk about.
You understand? But that
doesn't mean
that
one
he
question.
shouldn't take some responsibility.
Why are the big teams in Europe are not trying to sign Osimhen? This is part of it.
I don't want to agree with that. Seriously, okay. I don't want to agree with that. Yes, it might have a little factor. You understand? But I don't think that is the major reason why big clubs are not going for him.
And I'm telling you right now, that is the major. Because of what he did at Napoli. Because I listened to some of our veterans in the industry, and they literally said something like this: that it is from a confirmed source that these big teams really wanted to sign Osimhen, but there are some people, they call them cabal. They did a meeting and they said, "Look at this young man that you really want to sign," but because of his attitude, they just said, "Okay." Let us forget about Osimhen and move forward. Because in Manchester United, have Shesko, Arsenal, Gyökeres. They are not up to Osimhen's standard. That's the truth.
But let me you see, reasons why big clubs. Okay, for example, just in contrary to what you said, I'm very close with Buchi, Buchi Laba. And I actually sent him a message during the summer. I messaged him personally on WhatsApp basically, and I asked him why did you, because I was really serious about Victor Osimhen coming to Manchester United, that I had to message Victor Osimhen's close friend because I don't have direct contact of Victor Osimhen. I messaged Bucha and I was like, why is United not going for Victor Osimhen? Or have we actually made any interest in him? And he said United actually went for Victor Osimhen. That was before the summer. Before the season ended last season. During the summer, early in the summer, they went for him, and he said they couldn't agree. They couldn't come to agreement, based on his wages and other stuff like that. So I think that that is not the reason. The reason why clubs are not going for Victor Osimhen, or big clubs per se. If a club like United could have asked about him, because the rumor was there, and I had to confirm it from a strong source, and other sources as well confirmed that United actually went for him. One of the reasons why some clubs didn't go for him is because of his wages. Victor Osimhen, he sees himself as a very big player. He wants to collect the big dough. You understand? He doesn't see himself as a Victor Gyökeres or Benjamin Sesko, who are being paid, something very decent. He wanted to collect the high fee. You understand? He wanted to come
go to Saudi Arabia. He should go to Al-Nassr.
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi now.
No, you need to understand something. You need to understand something again, that one of the reasons why Victor Osimhen cannot go to Saudi Arabia is because, if you remember very well, when he was at Napoli, he and Kvaratskhelia, agent made a statement and was like, Victor Osimhen can go to leagues like Saudi Arabia and stuff like that, but his own player, because then Kvaratskhelia was, being linked to these Saudi clubs as well. And he said his own player cannot or will not choose to go to Saudi Arabia. That, but Victor Osimhen can choose to go. I don't know what happened. I don't know the reason why he would have. If you remember then, Victor Osimhen actually came out. He made a video and he lambasted. Was it a video? He made a statement and he lambasted.
That is Victor James Osimhen for you, but we all call it passion. But it is what it is.
For me,
it is what it is.
For me, that is one of the reasons why Victor Osimhen till today will not go to that Saudi Arabian league, just to prove to Kvaratskhelia agents that I am not washed. Like, I'm not going to take any peanuts, or because of money, I will go to an obscure league, so to say. You understand? So I think that is the reason why he's not going to Saudi Arabia. And for the big clubs, they look at many things. Your behavior is part of them. But Victor Osimhen doesn't have the worst behavior in football. We've seen the likes of Balotelli, we've seen Eric Cantona in football then, that Sir Alex Ferguson actually... Cantona did worse than Victor Osimhen. He did many worse things than Victor Osimhen. Balotelli has done worse. There's this former Newcastle, former England player. His name eludes me right now, who is very notorious for doing bad things.
Bad thing? But the question is,
thank you.
And the question is, how did their career end? Where is Balotelli now? Where is Joe Barton? Elijah Diop? They all declined. So are we saying, are we also praying the same thing for Victor James Osimhen to decline? That is what we're saying.
No, see,
let's call a spade a spade.
Saying, but you have players that are very passionate in football and have done well. I mean, there was a certain Diego Costa at Chelsea. He's a very passionate footballer as well. I mean, you can mention but a few. You see,
how did his own career to end?
It ended well. It ended well. He won the league with Chelsea. He did well.
So
you see, sometimes
once you win a league, you have a good career. Is that what you're saying?
Maybe. Okay, see, Babatov was saying something of recent, during a podcast, and he was being asked about Benjamin Sesko. He said Benjamin Sesko sometimes, just like Rasmus Højlund, that Benjamin Sesko as a striker, this is a veteran striker, talking about Babatov, he did well, in his career. He was like, sometimes as a striker, you need to speak out. You need to be aggressive. You need to at least shout. I mean, not all the time. I'm not saying you should. The problem I have with Victor Osimhen, or I had in this last game, was that he was pointing his hands. You understand? At Ademola Lookman. You don't do that to your fellow player. Is it because it's short? He was putting his hands at him. He was throwing away the hand of the captain.
That was the only one that you saw. You didn't see when he pushed his captain away. Did you see that?
Yeah, I mean, that's what he said.
The captain.
That's the problem. That is the problem I have with him.
But you people still target passion.
But as a striker, John, as a striker, sometimes you need to be aggressive. You need to demand for the ball because, everybody wants to score goals. Everybody wants to score goals. But you need to tell them that, guy, I did open, pass to me.
Damn well, we'll be there one day when he definitely give one of those players a hot slap. We will be there. All right, let's move forward. Still talking about Victor James Osimhen and, of course, Super Eagles of Nigeria. And after they've ended the whole chaos in camp, do you think that the likes of Ademola, Lookman, Moses Simon, Samuel Chukwueze will be free on the pitch because they don't want Osimhen to get angry?
That I also made a video yesterday where I talked about it, that the problem with this shouting and everything is that you're going to make your players timid and they would want to always give you the ball, which is not right. Footballers should be free. They should be free to dictate them, to actually determine who to pass to and who not to pass to. They should know what to do at the right time.
Yes,
I mean, the likes of Chukwueze, Ademola Lookman, Daddy Simon, it will be all of them. These are experienced players. These are professional players.
Everybody will be looking for Osimhen on the pitch now. The star boy.
You know, so now when Victor Osimhen have the ball, they might be like, I'm going to make this guy vex, so make I give him ball. You understand? And you see, sometimes Victor Osimhen also need to understand that he has missed so many chances for Nigeria, playing for Nigeria, the Super Eagles before.
Yes, of course.
What if, let's say, the Chukwueze or Ademola Lookman or Alex Iwobi goes to him and starts shouting at him? What if? I mean, is he going to take it, bro?
How would he feel?
You know, there have been many times that, you see, when people are comparing Haaland to Osimhen, there's one thing that Haaland have ahead of Osimhen. Apart from other things, we can argue other things. But one thing is key that Haaland have ahead of Osimhen, and that is beating the offside. I saw a stat, I don't know how true it is, that Haaland have only been caught offside, I think, once in about so many games.
Yes, of course, you're correct.
You understand? So he knows how to beat that.
If you like, bring 1 million VAR, he beats them. That's Haaland for you. Bring 1 million VAR.
You get that, and also one-on-one. Victor Osimhen also, I think he improved after leaving Napoli. He has improved. Even, I think, when they won the league at Napoli, he improved a bit when it comes to facing the goalkeeper one-on-one. Because Victor Osimhen used to be very poor at one-on-one chances and everything. Like, he doesn't know what to do. But of recent, I'm beginning to see that trait again. One-on-one chances, you see him miss it. The last game, I think he played for Galatasaray, where he actually scored a goal. I think they won by 4-1 or something. Sane scored 2 goals in that game. Victor Osimhen had so many chances, so many one-on-one chances that he missed. You understand? So what do you expect? Because to create an assist is not easy.
Yes, of course.
I have dribbled, I have done many things. I give you the ball on the platter of gold and you miss it or you are caught offside. Would he be happy if they go and shout at him?
At all.
He wouldn't be happy. So he needs to understand all these things as well.
All right, still talking about Afcon. Let's go straight to the camp of Cote d'Ivoire, Algeria, and of course, going to the next match, Super Eagles of Nigeria will be playing Algeria. And of course, Ahmad has been so fantastic at this ongoing Afcon as we speak. What are your thoughts? Nigeria versus Algeria coming up this weekend.
Okay, let me start from, one thing that you mentioned. You mentioned Ahmad. I saw that game yesterday. They played, and he was very good. In the first half, his runs, his play, his trickery. I mean, knowing when to pass, knowing when to pass, and knowing when to shoot when you have to shoot. Doing all these things, I think Ahmad has really, done well in this Afcon. He has, I think, 3 goals right now.
3 goals already.
Alongside Brahim Diaz and Ademola Lookman. But if you look based on stats,
goals.
Yeah, what do you say?
Brahim Diaz is leading 4 goals.
4 goals, yeah, 4 goals. Sorry. So, but based on stats, Ademola Lookman still is the player of the tournament so far.
7 goals,
based
3 goals for assists.
3 goals for assists. The only difference is that this other Brahim Diaz especially, and even Ahmad maybe, their goals have come when their team need it. Like, it has been winners. I mean, Ademola Lookman also scored a winner against Tanzania, but anyways, let's leave that. Let's leave all that. I mean, Ahmad has really done well. I'm proud to call him a Manchester United player, But talking about Algeria versus DR Congo yesterday was a very tight one. The Algerians did, quite well, even though they struggled a bit, because Congo is a very physical side. They have a very strong squad. Bissaka, Tuanzebe, very good defensive pairing, and going forward also, they are a very good side, but difficult to beat as well. But Algeria showed what they were made of yesterday. And one thing actually caught my attention, which is making me quite scared a bit right now, or let me say anxious, kind of. It is the fact that the goalkeeper for DR Congo made so many saves yesterday. I didn't start watching the game up until the late second half and the extra time. But I saw so many shots being played at the goalkeeper, how his anticipation, his command in the box, his saves, shot stoppage. I mean, the goal that Algeria scored, I doubt any goalkeeper in the world would have been able to save that. That was a very good goal.
Yes,
that was like compared. You can compare that goal to what Harrison Reed scored for Fulham at the weekend. That wonderful shot against Liverpool. Even though the Harrison Reed goal is a bit better than the Algerian, goal. But my point is that Algeria have so many tricky players. They have very fast players. They have players that don't give up. Like, they swarm around you like bees. They don't give you room for, coordinating yourself or passing or stuff like that. My problem is not the defense of the Super Eagles or the midfield. It is the goalkeeper. And the reason I'm saying it is that Stanley Nwabali has shown that his anticipation during games are not 100%.
Yes, of course.
When I talk about anticipation, you coming out to claim balls, you getting ready for a shot and all these reflex and stuff like that. It is not. Maybe I can give him 60% when it comes to that. His anticipation is very poor. And if you look at his record, even for Chippa United this season and for the Super Eagles of Nigeria, it has been poor as well.
Don't even talk about.
Would he be able to withstand? Because when you have players like Mahrez coming at you, Mahrez will not tell you that he wants to shoot before he shoots. Riyad Mahrez might just take out one player and bam, he shoots.
Yes, of course.
Would he be able to anticipate that shot and actually save it? That's the problem, because you see, your defender cannot do everything.
That mean, well,
I'm sure that the players are going to do well.
Just put your mind at rest.
Well, no problem. I'll put my mind at rest. But I hope that the Super Eagles of Nigeria can prosecute that game well. I believe in our boys. I believe in the coach. I believe in the strategy of the coach. I'm expecting a different formation from the one he used, or maybe the same formation, who knows, against Mozambique. But I would want to see a far greater determination from the boys against Algeria, because it's going to be more difficult.
All right. Away from Afcon, let's move straight to Italy. And of course, England. Juventus bounced back from their humiliating draw at home against lowly Lecce at the weekend with a 3-0 win at Sassuolo on Tuesday, 6th January, to reclaim 4th spot in Italian Serie A. Almighty Juventus winning away from home 0-3. Pisa lost at home to Como 0-3. Lecce lost to Roma 0-2. And of course, today's fixtures, we'll be seeing Bologna, Atalanta, Napoli versus Verona, Parma versus Inter Milan, Torino will host Udinese, Lazio versus Fiorentina. And of course, in the EPL fixtures today, we'll be seeing Crystal Palace versus Aston Villa, Fulham versus Chelsea. Damn me what? Chelsea will be playing away from home. This is another derby for Chelsea. Fulham versus Chelsea, managerless Chelsea. And of course, they've gotten a new coach. Liam, that is his name, coming all the way from French Ligue 1, from Strasbourg. For Chelsea. I don't think we'll be in the dugout this evening, but at least they've gotten a new coach. Up Chelsea, they will be playing against informed Fulham. What are your thoughts?
Well, Fulham have been very good of late, that I'm beginning to feel that maybe their form might be a bad omen, to the Nigerian players who are currently in Afcon, because when the likes of Calvin Bassey, Chukwueze, and Iwobi was there, they were having, a bit sore patch, when it comes to the Premier League. Win this one, lose this one, draw this one, lose, draw before you get a win. But this time around, I don't think they've lost the game since the African players, the Nigerian players actually left. I don't think they've lost the game. They've won, they've drawn. Against Liverpool, you could see how they were even leading, before they actually got a draw. So they've been doing so well. Against Chelsea, it's going to be a difficult game for them. And of course, for Chelsea, Liam Rossina won't be managing this one for now, but it's going to be probably somewhere in the stands, watching the game. So I think it's a bad time for Fulham to face Chelsea, and also bad for Chelsea to face an informed Fulham. But I think it's more on Fulham, because Chelsea have a new manager. The players would want to show what they are made of. They want to prove to the new manager that they've got it. And I mean, even a French player, would want to, prove himself so that he can actually get a starter's jersey, with the new manager. This is a new beginning, so they want to prove themselves. But I still think that this might just slightly go for Chelsea because they have the quality up front. Pedro Neto, Joao Pedro, and what's his name? Kopama, who is back. If they can actually get themselves right. And don't forget that Caicedo, I think Caicedo should be sorry. I think Caicedo should be ready for this game. He wasn't there in that Man City game, so which was a bit, a disadvantage for Chelsea. So with him, Enzo Fernandez, I think their midfield, looking very strong. Solid. They are going to overpower this Fulham side and get a victory. I see a slight victory for Chelsea.
Okay, all right. Other features: Brentford versus Sunderland, Bournemouth who hosts Tottenham Hotspur, Manchester City versus Brighton, Everton versus Wolves, Burnley at home versus Manchester United. In 30 seconds, tell us about Darren Fletcher.
Well, Darren Fletcher, contrary to many United fans who have been really hounding him and saying all sorts of things, I'm an optimist, and I'm someone that loves to give people benefit of the doubt. Darren Fletcher has been with this team for a long time. He has seen different managers. He used to be, I think, in the technical department sometimes. He used to be with the scouting sometimes. Then of late, he's been a coach, with the under-18s, and just not too long ago, he was promoted to the under-21, and before you know it, he's an interim coach. So he's got experience. He played under Sir Alex Ferguson. He knows the United DNA. He knows what it takes to actually be a United coach. I think Fletcher has what it takes to actually lead the team. And, luckily for him, what's his name? Mason Mount and Bruno Fernandes, they are back. In fact, they've been back before the Leeds game, but the coach decided to give them, one game rest before this one. So I think this is going to be an opportunity for Darren Fletcher to prove himself. John O'Shea is going to be joining him, and I think that United would or should get a victory in this one. I want to see the formation that he's going to deploy. I want to see his tactics. I want to see if he's going to bring in some of these young players. He was asked about his two sons, Jaga Fletcher and Ryan Fletcher, but he said, they're just coming up. But I'd love to see how he actually deploys, his team tonight against Burnley. Maybe not too much of a big test, but let's see how it goes. But Ole is around the corner as well. He knows Ole is around the corner, so he might want to just show that he's the man for the job.
All right, and of course, the last game for today, 7 January 2026, I beg your pardon, Newcastle United versus Leeds United. That is how much we can take on Sports Talk on Enterprise TV 7. If you are here to follow us across all social media, endeavor to do that. We are at Enterprise TV 7 across all social media platforms with our website at www.enterprisetv.com. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Dami Walt has been on the show today. Dami Walt.
Yeah, it's been a very wonderful one. Thank you very much for having me on the show. And hopefully, the Super Eagles of Nigeria can get themselves right and let's win our 4th Afcon.
All right, my name remains John Olasukomi. See you next time.